Coming onto your mat. And onto your back, knees bent, and have your feet as wide as your sticky mat. So we'll start quite wide with the feet. And begin to let the body settle as you tune the attention into the breath. Feel the upper back begin to release. Feel the jaw soften. As the body just gets a little heavier, tune into your next inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Beginning to match the quality, the length, the amplitude of your breath. The inhale matches the exhale. Settling your whole being onto your yoga mat. Take a steady, smooth inhale, and with your exhale, allow the right knee to roll in towards your left ankle. So the left knee stays pointing to the ceiling. And we're just starting to mobilize this right hip. So bring the hip out to the side, rolling onto the outside of the right foot. And then maybe with an inhale, roll the knee in. So don't go into any pain or discomfort. Keep it on a nice, comfortable roll. So keeping the left knee still, slow and steady. So a steady, smooth movement to the outside of the right foot, knee out to the side, to the inside of the right foot as the knee drops down. Just feel the movement of the thigh bone in the hip joint. And see if you can get the pace and the steadiness to match the breath. Just do one more round. And then bring that knee to point to the ceiling, and we'll take it to the other side. So whichever feels more comfortable for you, maybe exhaling as the knee comes out and inhaling as it drops in. And it's very likely this side will be different. Just allow it to move within its own comfortable arc of internal and external rotation. So see if you can keep the pelvis pretty still, the back of the pelvis still in contact with the mat. So we're really moving the femur bone in the hip joint. Steady, smooth movement with your breath, rolling to the inside of the foot, the outside of the foot, keeping the right knee still. And aligning that movement with your breaths. Just do one more round. And then let's heel toe the feet together, big toe joints together, and begin to allow the knees to fall out into Supta Baddha Konasana. So this reclining cobbler's pose where the soles of the feet are together, the knees are out wide, and just allow the pelvis to roll backwards and forwards. So you could perhaps push the feet into each other, draw the sit bones together as the back flattens into the floor, and then release some of that tension and feel the lower back lift away from the floor. So you're just rolling the spine so that the lumbar spine is flexing and extending. It is pelvis tips forwards, tips backwards. And again, see if you can get this smooth and steady movement in line with your breath. And then bring it to a point of stillness. Allow the belly to soften here. And again, tune into the contact of your back, your skull, your pelvis, your feet into the mat. And take another steady breath. Take an inhale, and with your exhale, roll onto your right side. So the knee stacks onto the left knee stacks onto the right knee, and roll onto the right side, and just support the head. You could have a brick, or you could just support the head with your arm here. And then lifting the left knee towards the ceiling, stepping the left foot onto the floor. Yeah, just allow that sensation of opening through this left hip joint. You could even take the left hand onto the left thigh and just encourage it to open a little bit. Nice. Bring the left hand out in front and start to circle the fingertips up overhead, and let the whole body start to roll all the way to the left. So you're lying on your left side. Bring the right foot to the floor, right knee towards the ceiling, and you could just have the right hand just to the inner thigh, helping to open that hip a little. Another breath there. And then start to slide the hand out in front, and again circle it all the way around. Come on to the right side, and then start to press up and come on to your hands and knees. Yeah. Hands underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. And find a cat-cow movement, but let it be right for you this morning. So perhaps with a little hip swing, you could take the hips a little bit further back, get a stretch in the upper back, especially if you've been gardening. So to round the spine towards the ceiling and then press into the hands a little bit. And you feel that takes the stretch into the upper back a little bit more. And it's lifting the sit bones, the collarbones in your cow movement, and finding a stretch that feels really good for your back this morning in your cat. Let's do one more. Moving with a steady breath once more, and then come into a neutral. So the back is a little flatter here. Rooting into your right hand, let's take the left hand up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, drop that left shoulder down to the floor and come into a twist. See if you can press the left sit bone back, the right sit bone back, so the sides of the waist are long. And let's come up again. So rooting into that right hand, straighten the right arm, take the left arm up, and exhale, thread it through for a breath, shoulder down, right elbow bent. And again, just see, can you root the sit bones back to the bottom of your mat? And make sure both sides of the waist are long. One more, inhale, come all the way up, reach up. Exhale, shoulder down into the twist. And then come up to the center once more. Have one more cat-cow here. Moving through the spine to feel good. Root into the left hand, take the right arm up. And then thread through, right shoulder to the floor, left elbow bent. Take a breath. Make sure you've swapped sides. Yeah. Nice. And then when you're ready, come up, root into the left hand again. Left arm strong and straight. And then exhale, threading through. And take a breath in the twist. Lengthen through the sides of the waist. Last time, rooting it back into that left hand. Opening up into the twist, the open twist, and then come back down to your shoulder. And really thread the right arm through, so you feel that stretching through the shoulders, the upper back. Nice. And then we'll come back. Again, feel as if you're rooting through the hands, walk the knees back a tiny little bit, and then let's come into downward facing dog. Lift the hips high, walk through the feet, letting the hips swing a little bit side to side. And then begin to steady your dog, your downward facing dog, rooting back through the inner ankles, the inner heels, stretching the soles of the feet, keeping the hips nice and high. Rooting the left hand down again. Can you start to slide the right hand towards your feet? Yeah, that's it, Maggie. Take your right hand to the outside of your left shin, or maybe thigh, maybe ankle. Let's take another breath. Left hand still really strong contact with the floor. One more breath there. Nice. And then come back into a steady and centered downward facing dog. So as we do this to the other side, make that right arm, right hand really strong, and see if you can minimize any sway to the right. I can see that my legs are swaying to the right. I'm trying to stay centered. Just as much pressure into the left foot as the right, looking out under the right armpit. Let's have another breath. And then left hand grounds, downward facing dog. And we'll inhale to lift the right leg high to the ceiling, and as you exhale, step it to the right hand and drop your left knee down. Let's sweep the arms up. Come into a little crescent lunge. Lengthen the tailbone, draw the lower belly up. And take a deep and steady breath. Let's take hold of the left wrist, hinge to the right. Feel as if you're drawing this whole left side up and then taking it into a side bend. Breathe into the left lung. Great. Nice. And then come back to center with the arms, and you're going to start to turn to the long edge of the mat, but the right knee stays pointing forwards so that left shin can drop round. So we start to open up through the inner thigh. So take the right elbow to the right thigh. See if you can bring the right ribs through a little bit, maybe turn to the ceiling, take the left arm overhead. Nice. So we should be starting to feel a little opening through the groin, nothing too strong. Can you lengthen the tailbone here? And then if it feels safe to do so, you're comfortable through the hip, then you could try just letting the knee float over the toes a little bit more. So you're taking the lunge a bit deeper. If that feels too strong, then keep the knee over the ankle. Nice. Let's have another breath. Good. Start to stack the body over that left knee. Take the hands to the hips, and you'll straighten the right leg out. Turn the right toes forwards. Take the arms up. We're in gate pose. Lovely. Lifting the arms. That's it, Maggie. Take the right hand to the right knee or thigh. And again, reach over with those left fingertips. Start to breathe once more into the left lung. Great. And then sweep the arms up, hands to the floor, and come back into downward facing dog. When you're ready, let's lift the left leg high. Look to the hands, step the left foot to the front of the mat, dropping the right knee down. And let's take the arms up. Crescent lunge. Again, see if you can get this feeling of energy drawing up from the pubic bone to the navel and lengthening from the back of the ribs to the bottoms of the buttocks. Nice. Take another breath. And then take hold of the right wrist and start to hinge to the left. Feel again as if you're drawing up from the right knee to the fingertips before you take it into your side bend. Breathe into that right lung. Release the hands to the center and bring the hands to the hips. Start to turn the body in line with the long edge of your mat, the left knee still pointing forwards. Left elbow can come onto this left thigh, and it can help to just keep that knee in line, the outer knee with the baby toe. And we start to feel this opening up through the groin. Take the right arm overhead. And again, lengthen the tailbone. So feel the flesh of the buttocks start to lengthen towards the floor. Take a breath into that right side. If it feels good, I'm a little tighter on this side, so I'm not going to go so deeply. You can let the knee float forwards over the toes. Just to your own degree. So keeping the core engaged will help to feel as if everything's drawing into the midline. One more breath into that right lung. Start to come back, hands to the hips, straighten your left leg, turning the toes to the long edge of your mat. Coming into gate pose, arms up. You could take hold of the right wrist, or you can have your left hand on your left knee or thigh, whichever feels better for you. Take it into a side bend. Yeah, lovely. And again, breathe into that right lung. And then sweep the arms up and come back into downward facing dog. Nice. Last time, just walk through the feet, release any tension through the knees, the ankles, the shins. Come right onto the tippy tip toes, pressing the hips towards the ceiling. Keep the hips high, the spine long as you release the inner ankles, the inner heels towards the back of your mat. So don't worry about trying to ground your heels. Feel as if you're stretching the soles of your feet. Lovely. And then looking to your thumbs, you could jump or step to the front of your mat. Come into half forward fold, inhaling to lengthen the crown forwards. Exhale into Uttanasana, forward fold. Let's sweep the arms all the way up, inhaling over Hastasana, fingertips to the ceiling. Great, keep the hands lifted. Take hold of the left wrist. And again, feel as if you're pulling upwards from the left foot and then hinge to the right. If you want to take that a little deeper, you could try stepping the left foot over the right foot, but keep the body orientated to the front so you're not letting that left hip turn. Lovely. Breathe into the left lung. Good. Release through the center and take that to the other side. Keep the feet next to each other to begin with. Lengthen up through that right side and then hinge over to the left. If it feels good, you could step the right foot over the left, but if it feels better having your feet next to each other, then go ahead and stay there. Try not to let the left hip drop backwards so you're centered to the edge of your mat. Let's have one more breath here. And then release the hands, release the feet. Look up, inhale as you exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lengthen, look forwards, legs firm. As you exhale, step your left foot back, long lunge, keep the knee lifted. Good. Start to hug the feet towards each other, tone the belly, and with an inhale, come up into Anjali-asana. The back leg stays really strong. Good. Stay there for a breath. While I just reorientate myself. Yeah. So lengthen the back leg. So feel as if you're drawing the knee, the inner thigh away from the floor. And we'll transition into warrior two. So begin to turn the body to the long edge of the mat. Good. Left toes pointing forwards. Right toes pointing to the top of the mat. See if you can lunge a little deeper, keeping the weight evenly between the 2 feet. Lovely. Take it into reverse warrior. So flip your right palm to the ceiling, left hand to the back thigh, and start to take the arm up and maybe even towards the back of your mat. If it feels comfortable, take your gaze to your right fingertips. Lunge a little deeper through that right knee. Nice. Breathe into your right lung. Let's stay here for another 2 breaths. If it feels good, you could take your left hand to your right wrist. Lengthen that right side even more. Nice. Breathe into the side body. Nice. And then let's sweep the hands all the way to the floor. Turn onto the ball of the back foot. And step back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale forwards into plank. Exhale, you could always drop the knees here, lower to the belly. Press the 10 toes into the floor as you inhale into cobra. Good. Exhale to release, tuck the toes. Find your way back into downward facing dog. Nice. When you're ready, inhale the right leg to the ceiling. Exhale, step it forwards. So we start to set this up on the other side. So make that back leg really firm. Have we swapped sides? I don't know if we have. No, we haven't. Jump switch the legs. Or you could step switch the legs. Sorry, my fault. Okay, let's come up into Anjalyasana. So this long lunge, firming the right leg, that's better. So see if you can lift the inner right thigh away from the floor. Make that back leg powerful as you lunge a little deeper, lifting up the heart. Nice, let's have another breath. Good, really press the thigh towards the ceiling of that back leg. Try not to let the knee collapse towards the floor. Lovely. So then we'll open out into warrior two. So your back foot is going to flatten, grounding into the outside edge, toes point to the long edge of your mat. Gaze over your left fingertips. Now see if you can feel that your weight is both pressing into the left and the right foot. Flipping your left palm. Start to come into reverse warrior. And see if you can stay low through the left knee. That's it. Good, your gaze can come up to the ceiling or the palm. Stay low through the left knee. If it feels good, you could take hold of your left wrist. Feel as if you're lengthening up through that left side. Stay lunging a little deeper. But yeah, if your knee is not comfortable here, keep pressing. In, straighten, and then bend. Yeah, just give it a little rest and then come back in. Yeah, lovely. Let's have another breath, reverse warrior. Good. Release the hands, warrior two, and take the hands to the floor. This time step forwards into half forward fold. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, fold. Sweep the arms wide, come all the way up. Inhale. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Good. Just do another round. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, look forwards. Good. Exhale, step the right foot back. Inhaling, coming into Anjalyasana. Exhale, transition warrior two. Inhale, come into reverse warrior. Nice. Let's hold that for a couple of breaths. And then inhale back into warrior two. And you start to press into your left foot, straighten the left leg, and then come into triangle pose. So if you have your brick handy, your brick is on the outside of your left foot. And then we get more opportunity to lengthen this left side of the body, bring the left ribs through a little bit, and then take the right arm up. Gaze to the ceiling. Can you root from the core of your pelvis into both feet, and then maybe get a little bit more space? Nice. If it feels good, you could start to take the right arm overhead, root into the back foot and feel the stretch through the right side of your body. Triangle pose. We'll start to bend that left knee, come back into warrior two. Nice. Let's take the arms up. Good. So starting to take the hips back, the body forwards into the, towards the long edge of your mat. And then bring the hands to the floor and bow. The foundation here is still warrior two. So left knee forwards, right toes to the long edge of the mat. And you could walk the hands out a little bit more. Keep hugging the left hip under. Let's have one more breath. Walk the hands back towards the middle of your mat. See if you can come back up into warrior two. And then windmill the hands to the floor. Taking the brick to the side for the other side in a moment. Step back into downward facing dog. And we'll inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it forwards. Let's come up into Anjali Asana. I'm just going to swap sides. Great. And again, really lift that back knee away from the floor. Start to transition into warrior two, so flattening the back foot, toes pointing long edge of your mat. Great. Take it into reverse warrior. Inhale here. Good. Exhale back into warrior two. Start to straighten your right leg. Reaching the right fingertips forward. Start to bring that right hand down to your brick. If you don't have a brick, you could just have the hand on the shin. Start to lengthen the right side of your body. Bring the right ribs through. Arm up. If it feels good, you can sweep the left arm alongside your ear. Root it into your feet from the core of your pelvis and get a little bit more space. Nice, one more breath. Bending the right knee. Come back into warrior two. Take the arms up. Start to take the hips back, keep the legs the same. Reach forwards, reach forwards, reach forwards. Keep the legs the same. Right knee over the right toes. Outer knee, baby toe. And bow. You could walk the hands forwards if that feels good. Keep the legs really strong. Lovely. And then we'll start to bring this right foot parallel to the left. Come into this wide-legged forward fold. So your weight evenly into both feet. Let the head bow. And then start to walk the feet towards each other so they become hip width apart. So you find yourself in a forward fold and then begin to roll up, take the arms up, gaze up over Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart. Lovely. So feel that you're rooting into your feet from the middle of the pelvis, so really strong contact with the floor. I'm going to mirror you here, so start to ground into the right foot and bring your left knee up. We'll come into tree pose, so start to press the foot into the thigh and then begin to draw the two in towards each other. So you're pressing thigh into foot, foot into thigh. And then when you're ready, take the arms up. So pressing the right foot into the floor. Feel the belly tone, the buttocks firm a little bit, but that pressure into the midline is what keeps our steadiness. Now relax the shoulders, take another 2 breaths. So you're going to unplug the foot from the thigh, keep it lifted, and just come into a little standing twist. So reaching the right arm behind you, steady through the gaze. Well done. And then come back to the center and back into Tadasana. Mountain pose. Root into both feet. So from the middle of your pelvis, from the belly button, the lower belly, root into your feet. Feel that firm contact with the floor as you start to take your weight into your left foot and lift the right knee. Bringing the foot to the upper inner thigh. So we don't want the foot over the knee. So it could be on the calf. You could even have your toes on the floor, turning this knee out, but not on the knee. That's it. So when you get there, so a little higher if you can, Maggie, so it's not in the knee, yeah. Start to push into the middle. So as your left foot grounds into the floor, the foot presses into the thigh into the foot. And then reach for the sky. Relax the shoulders. Nice, and another 2 breaths here. Keeping all of that energy in the lower body, rooting into the foot, rooting the thigh and the lifted foot together. Steady breath. As you unplug the foot, stay steady and see if you can take it into a twist. Gaze steady. Left arm reaches behind if you've got space. Nice and tall. One more breath. Lovely. And then coming back into Tadasana. Well done. Let's take the arms up. Start to fold forwards. Bend the knees and come onto the floor with your sit bones. And take both legs out in front. And just lift the flesh of the buttocks out to the side a little bit for a better contact with your sit bones and sit nice and tall. Let's bring the left foot to the inner right thigh and let the knee fall out to the side. Just turn the belly button to the straight leg and just see how it feels to walk the hands forward. So you might not get very far. What we don't want is a squishing of the front of the body. So you don't want to collapse between the ribs and the hips. Can you keep the front of the body long? As if you're going to take nose to toes. Relax the shoulders, let the head bow. Let's take 2 more breaths. Dhanusasana. To come up, straighten left leg next to right. Just take the hands beside the hips and lift up the spine. Get a little bit of length through the side body. And then we'll take it to the other side, the sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Make this straight leg firm. So you're rooting the thigh towards the floor, toning the toes back. Make sure the heel doesn't lift when you do that. And then nice and tall, find space between the ribs and the hips. And then start to take it forwards. Letting the shoulders relax, the jaw relax, the head bow. A smooth and steady breath. Begin to release, and this time scoop that left knee up and bring the soles of the feet together. So we're in Baddha Konasana here. Take the hands behind the hips and root down into the fingertips and see if you can tilt the pelvis forward. So we get space, the top of the sacrum starting to draw in. Lift up the heart, yeah. And as we lift the torso nice and tall, press the feet into each other and see maybe you can open the knees a little bit more. Good, you can stay here. If you feel that you begin to collapse a little bit as you stop the pressure through the fingertips, then I would stay here. If you feel that you can keep that length, Then take the hands to the feet. You could always hook the big toes or take hold of the whole of the feet, and elbows can come to the shins. But if you feel as if you're collapsing too much through the spine, through the torso, then stay lifted. You can always press into the fingertips and take the chin forwards. So whatever feels good for you. Steady the breath, bow the head, and start to let everything soften a little bit more. And we're going to bring the body back down into Supta Baddha Konasana. So we keep the feet, the knees, the legs the same. Taking the hands behind, you can walk the hands, the elbows to the floor, coming onto your back. And you can leave the feet where they are if it feels better. You can always draw the heels towards the sit bones a little bit more. Roll the shoulder blades under and start to let the body release. And you can stay here for your Shavasana if that feels comfortable for your final relaxation of your practice this morning, if this feels like a good position to be in, and you can really let go of the spine. If you prefer, then come into Shavasana with the legs straight, letting the heels be wide, the feet fall out to the sides. So choose what works better for you. And start to soften the breath. Release tension through the face and the jaw. If there's a pull in your back, then you can ground the feet and bend the knees, or come into full Shavasana, legs straight. Let the body get heavier into the floor as you let go of any tension that you find remaining in the body. Feel the mind soft as your skin softens. Begin to draw the breath a little deeper once more. Following the inhale to its apex, and then allowing the exhale to flow without too much effort to its natural conclusion. And then notice your next breath, fuller, deeper, smooth, steady. Start to bring the knees together if you still have them wide, grounding the feet. Bend the knees if your legs are straight, grounding the feet. Take the arms overhead. Inhale to the fingertips, and with your exhale, hug the knees in. Take another breath here. And then roll to the side when you're ready. Take a pause before you press up to seated. Long through the spine, heavy through the pelvis. And bring your hands together in front of your heart. And with great love and gratitude, namaste.